don't know if it makes a difference.
You know, well, no, this is Oldecam.
And this is not a spring chicken. Today we're going to be talking about
the economy sucks no matter what our president is telling you.
Well, you know, one of the things that we're seeing, and actually, if you're watching this, you're probably going, well, we already know that. Well, sometimes you're sitting there thinking, well, what is it like where I am versus where somebody else is? Because sometimes you think it's just your little community, or just you, or just, you know, whatever have you, or your industry. Well, one of the things they always say with clothing is that when times are tough, what, clothing gets more conservative?
It gets more conservative. They get darker and they get really dark.
Darker, more dreary. Dreary was the word you're looking for.
I do, what people don't understand is I do stutter. I try to get it under control, but I do stutter.
And so they wear something smaller like this when times are better and they want to celebrate,
yes,
right?
Skirts go up when times are better, skirts go down. Look at the god-awful long things that they're putting out in clothing stores at the moment.
Oh, yeah, those maxi dresses.
Yeah, it's basically, which nobody wants to buy them. But they've lengthened the skirts, and basically brightened the clothing line. They fired a guy over at the Gap because he was doing everything in dark and dreary. Because it's what it is. They're not buying clothes. They said, was that going to help the bottom line? Well, this is the guy that brought out the skinny cargo pants before they were popular.
I love the skinny cargo pants.
I know. He was ahead of the curve. So therefore, because he was ahead of the curve, and he's probably saying everything is dark and dreary, which means we don't want that type of person working for our business. We want everybody to think everybody's buying stuff. No.
Well, you know, I think that's kind of the curse sometimes when you're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Right? And you're a trailblazer, people don't understand it. So,
yeah, but the problem is...
But he's already done that, and so I think he was just the fall guy for the...
He's the fall guy for the fact the Gap is sucking. Well, some of their other businesses are... I love this. The other businesses aren't losing as much money as the Gap. And they've got they have a different tact. Well, their tact is to spend money on bright and cheerful clothes that no one is buying. But they're still losing money.
Mm-hmm.
So, but...
well, when's the last time you saw a Gap commercial?
I know. Not a long time.
But I've seen an Old Navy commercial, which actually is another part of the division.
But the Old Navy basically isn't doing the same commercials that they used to do. If you notice, the commercials they've got less and less expensive now.
Oh, they're doing the commercials with mannequins?
No, they're using the mannequins are out because the mannequins had to be moved. Now they just got people in them that basically have no talent whatsoever. You know, instead of putting the girl in a pair of shorts, they have her wearing the one she's on and then standing in front of another set of shorts, rather than to stop the continuity of the film and start up again by having her change.
I know.
So that's basically because time is money. But no, we're going to use this as an analogy. We are trying to get, we're all set to go to Cairns. We've had to backpedal our reservations and rooms because we can't find anybody out there that has any money.
We've got a lot of merchandise
we can
available
get,
for us, luxury merchandise.
We can open up our own home shopping network with the stuff we're being offered.
but sometimes you just need some cash to get over there.
Okay, we try to explain to people. We understand it's going, by the official directory from the press division, it's running 80 euros for a one trip from Nice over to Cairns, and Nice is as close as you can get north, and I don't know what it runs from. I don't know when you're coming south north. If you go north at Nice and go to Cairns, which is south of it, it's 80 euros. If you go south of Cairns, I think it's a heck of a lot more because the places get smaller that direction.
Well, they're also further away from Cairns. Yeah. Right? Whereas Nice is still relatively close.
Nice is still, it's like 15 miles, 15, 20, depending on where you go, 15 to 25 miles where you stay in the French Riviera. But you have to, there are things you cannot credit card in this world. One of them is you can't credit card, you know, the driver that has to drive you around for the 10 days that you're there, which now is going to be 8 days because we've had to backpedal. You also can't credit card most of the food. You can't credit, you know, I happen to have those cards that they don't take in all these places. You know, of course, it's the #1 card in the world, but they don't take it.
Actually, it's more prevalent in other countries.
Yeah. But it isn't, it is not the credit card of the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, really?
Which means it's not very good over there.
Which means it's not going to do it.
Well, if you want to go over to Paris and stay for a week, it's really great. Go over to London, stay for a week, it's pretty good. But nobody has any cash. I mean, I told her a week ago that the people said that they were cutting back on their president. Actually, I told her yesterday too. I was talking to some of the movie cup studios. The studios are basically going to send their people over. They haven't determined who yet, at an undetermined time, to attend the premieres of the products that they have off, off market. I mean, actually, they're off the show festival. But they're going to be premiering the things there. Otherwise, there's 400 sales agents there, and I think the agents are going to be doing most of the business for various companies. But there's 2,500 films, 400 agents. You can figure out what that comes to. But a lot of people are going there on the cheap. I know people that have produced movies that are flying on other people's tickets. They're flying on accrued miles. They're staying with everybody. They're crazy. It's like you were going to spring break when you were in college.
I know.
And
but these are all business people. They're staying with friends. They're staying any way.
Any way they can do to cut costs, and they're basically have got themselves. Their office is their cell phone, and they have a place where they can do business. Over at the Marche du Cinema, they can basically, go over there, conduct business because they're paying a fee to be a part of it. So they go over there, they have their screenings and stuff, and all of this. But they don't have any money either. Nobody has any money, and our president cannot get it through his thick skull. That I heard him this morning. I mean, it basically was like the people on. We're talking people on Bloomberg. We're basically talking to one of the president's people like he's got, like he's got a head like a rock. Yeah, but we do not. We have the most prosperous economy in the world. That we can easily pay our bills. And they said, well, no, because they're asking for $2.9 trillion to cover the bills, and that we don't have that. We don't make that kind of. Our economy does not produce that kind of money a year. And they said, well, we can. We are. We're not in danger of defaulting because no one would dare cause us default. Well, tell that to the Greeks, the Italians, the Spanish, the Irish, all of the countries that are defaulting that are major countries, folks, because they can't. What they've done is they printed so much money that. I come from New York. My father. I tell most of you, my father was born in Germany, and my grandmother was born in Ireland, and my grandfather was born in Prussia too. But what happened was the family went back there during the Great Depression, and my grandmother said she went to buy a loaf of bread, and they asked her, if she had any American money, and she said, well, she didn't at the moment. But she thought she'd just get some, like the German money to pay for it, and they said, well, how much is the bread? And they said, well, it's a dime, and they said, okay, I'll give you I got a dime, we'll get it, and then they brought her out a wheelbarrow full of money, a dime, and they brought her out a wheelbarrow full of money, because this is what's happening in all these countries in the United States. They're printing wheelbarrows full of money to pay for things. It's not worth anything. So, but the president says, well, we have an extreme lack of inflation. That's the main problem. No, by everybody's standards, we have a 10% inflation rate and a 19% unemployment rate. Nobody's got any money. In another one, the same moron this morning, he said, well, I don't understand why there's such a problem in the housing market because the prices have never been lower. This is a time for all young families to get into it. And the guy, one person, you can't get a loan. I've been trying to get a loan for 6 months and I make money. I don't owe money. And they said they won't loan me the money because I'm in a very risky business. But you're a financial person. Well, yeah, they consider that too risky to make a loan to.
Oh, really?
Even though they don't owe any money, they consider the person a person that works in the financial industry on Wall Street too risky to make a loan from, because and it's ridiculous. They said to get the economy, okay, your homes now are going to be worth 8% less than they were last year at this time. They said 50% of the homes in the state of California are now underwater. Almost all of them in Arizona and Nevada are gone. I mean, they said Nevada is on the verge of being a dead city, not because of the lack of the water, but because of the fact that you can't get money to buy homes anymore.
Oh, really?
Can't borrow money to buy a home, which means all of that stuff
But
that
you
they're
know what?
foreclosing just sits there.
But you know what? It's not just them. It's all over the place. I mean, if you had cash or you could get a loan, it's a fabulous time to get a house.
Oh yeah.
Low interest rates, the market's down, which you never see.
They said
Hardly ever.
1/3 of home sales in California are being done for cash now. 1/3 for
That's
cash.
a lot.
It's also illegal.
Oh.
Any
Why?
transaction over such and such has to be checked into by the government because they want to know, where did you come up with $5 or $6 million cash to buy a home? Where did you come
Or
up with
200,000 or
$800,000
500,000.
where did you come up with that money to buy the home? So it automatically puts red flags up on, you get an investigation of the internal records. You pay cash for a home, you pay cash for an automobile, they just flag you immediately. You just ask for an IRS audit for paying cash because they want to know where you got the money. Because drug dealers and crooks deal in cash.
Oh.
They don't really. They launder the money like anybody else and they get loan. They basically get a loan.
Because they don't want them to get the red flag?
Yeah, the only people that don't pay in cash are the crooks. Yeah, you know. When my father...
That's why they call it laundry.
No, they've never done. I mean, I worked on a movie with an actor named Don Murray and Inger Stevens and Fritz Weaver called The Borgia Stick. And basically they got involved with a problem with money. And then they thought they were going to get killed. And then the guy with Fritz Weaver, who was the head of the loan operation for the mafia, he told Kid, I don't know where you got that idea. If we kill you, we don't get our money back. Said, we're legitimate. We made you a legitimate loan. We expect you to
get paid back.
We expect you to pay us back. They said, get off your ass and go to work and pay our money back. That was the whole thing. He's running from the people because he borrowed money from what he knew was crooked people, and he lost his job. And he said, no, we'll carry you till you get a job. Go get a job. Pay us our money back. We don't kill people. We don't get our money back.
You've been watching too many movies, right?
I watch too many movies, yeah. But I mean, for instance, too, I contacted people I know that are theoretically well off about, advertising. I'm sorry, but the economy is in such a weak situation at the moment. We can't afford to even advertise.
Part of it is...
That's it. Look at how many companies are no longer advertising on television.
Yeah. Or think about this. How many companies used to be in the Sunday paper that are no longer there?
Think of how small the Sunday paper has got because the advertising thing is there. They're telling us, I get stuff sent from from a lot of the organizations. Well, online advertising is going to be up by 27% in 2011. Well, no. What it is the companies are basically increasing the size, decreasing their web presence on their own sites. They're not advertising anywhere else. They're using their sites, and basically that is the 27% increase. Mm-hmm. Because the reason why online is in such a bad state is because you can't find people to advertise. You flat out cannot find people that will advertise. I mean, they've got 2 viral sites left in the country, basically. Basically you say Vimeo's a joke, it doesn't work anymore. Vimeo works, but it works on a small basis. Veo is the one, that basically there's nobody paying attention. Crackle is gone, MSN is gone. Vimeo is still there, but Vimeo has a limit unless you actually pay for it.
I know somebody was telling me last night that went to Digital Hollywood, they were covering it. She says, oh, they said to go on Blip TV and you can post it to all these different sites. I said, well, isn't Blip TV? I said, if I remember correctly, they're the ones where you can only post so much. I said, so at the rate at which we're posting, we could do 1 or 2 videos. We were doing
one 30-second, we are signed up with Blip. We were doing 1 30-second video a week.
Yeah, and since we post a lot.
We post a lot. We supply videos for 9 different sites now.
Yeah. 9
different sites. So, and they still got our tag on them, even though they might be somewhere else, but they're 9 different sites. So, we have to start paying for live stream. We have to start paying for Vimeo. We're going to have to pay for